All right, let's finish, Sam, with Houston. And what a week it has been. I'm going to call them my Houston Rockets now. I'm going to embrace the Houston Rockets.
I
I'm going to
just beat
embrace.
your Boston Celtics.
I know I'm all in on the Houston Rockets now. Like
I am too.
three-game stretch of watching Amen Thompson has me all in. They take both ends of a home-and-home against Cleveland, and they roll into Boston and beat the Celtics. Yeah, there was no Derek White in that game, Al Horford. But Jalen Green's having a ridiculously efficient month of January. And as I mentioned, Amen Thompson, he has arrived.
Yeah.
He has arrived in this league. Thompson knocked down the game winner against the Celtics, 2 of his 33 points against Boston. So conventional wisdom has said that this is the growth year for Houston. Great regular season. Maybe they grab a first round series win, then they get exposed by a more experienced team. Put it this way. Have you been of that opinion? And if you have, are you revising your opinion at all of the Houston Rockets' chances?
I am. I still think as great as Jalen has been, like I can't even think of a comp when it comes to a young player who has shown, so much electricity at times, but then is still inconsistent enough that you wonder if he can be that guy. But to your credit, or his credit rather, and to your point, he's doing it right now. You left out my guy, Alperen Şengün, who I had a wonderful 40-minute interview with a couple weeks ago. And
I love it. I read the Amick Unplugged are my favorites.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. The best 3,700 word interview you read that week. And pared down from about 7,000 for the record. But he's been fantastic. And, you almost can't even figure out, I think if any of them are going to get on the All-Star team, by the way, like it's probably Şengün, but it says a lot about their depth and just how dynamic they are and how unique they are, that you kind of look at it and it's like, is it Şengün? Is it Jalen? Is it, now you've got Amen coming on the scene, like you talk about.
Dylan Brooks had a great month.
Who did?
Dylan Brooks had a great month.
Yeah. Shoot, what do you have, 36 last night?
Yeah.
Just chirping at Jaylen Brown like crazy.
Love it.
They are a fun group. Obviously that was, I know it's been a while now, but the Ime Udoka reunion game. And the feistiness is there. Knocking the Cavs off 2 games in a row was extremely impressive. Thompson is somebody who he's coming on strong, and they've known it for a while. They have known that they are sitting on a special player and really taking their time, kind of letting him spread his wings. And obviously that's changing quickly these days, but my goodness, you're talking about a guy who, other than not having a jumper, does everything and is a force on the defensive end, just energy level through the roof, aggressive player, smart player, beloved in the locker room. Credit to their GM, Rafael Stone, and their group and the Fertitta group that's been kind of figuring things out post James Harden, but they got a lot going on right now.
The best app for your big game party is actually on your phone. It's called Underdog. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all your takes during the big game, which players are going off and which ones are ice cold. Make your entries in just a few taps. With their Pick'em game, you could win up to 1,000 times your money just by choosing higher or lower on player stats. I'm talking yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and more. They've got all your favorite leagues, teams, and stars to choose from, and you can cook up some entries for a shot to win real cash prizes while you watch the big game. Every dog deserves a second chance, and with Underdog Rescues, you can get your money back and receive a promo if an early injury causes your entry to lose. I've been enjoying using Underdog this season, and for the big game, I'm looking at Travis Kelce catching higher than 5 passes and picking Saquon Barkley rushing for lower than 2 touchdowns. Underdog is the best place to play Pick'em. Download the app, sign up with the promo code MMQB, and deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code MMQB. Must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older, Alabama, Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line, 1-877-8-HOPE-NY, or text HOPE-NY. I look at some of these numbers. They're top 10 in offensive rating. They're top 5 in defensive rating. They're 6th in the NBA in net rating. These are elite numbers. We talk a lot about, does this team need that kind of fourth quarter guy? But they're 27-3 this season when leading after three quarters. They're 11-6 in games decided by 5 points or less. 6-3 when you whittle that down to 3 points or fewer. So in these clutch time situations, they've got guys that are getting it done. A lot
Yeah.
of it's happening defensively, but they've got guys, whether it's Jalen Green recently, Amen Thompson against Boston, they're making shots. I mean, Ime Udoka is coaching his ass off down there.
Yep.
I've talked about this a lot. I mean, in Boston, Ime had a great season. I think a lot of people thought that Will Hardy had a lot to do with that, and I'm sure he did because Will Hardy's an excellent coach. But now here's Ime going down to Houston doing the exact same thing with
Yeah.
different coaches on his bench. So
I
he's
mean, even as a quick aside, talking to Şengün and asking him like what has led to this jump in your play, and the first thing he highlights is the belief that Ime has shown in him. And by the way, and this is rare, conversely highlighting the times when Şengün got benched for not doing what Ime wanted, and the fact that he likes that and says that's how basketball should be. If I don't give you what you need and what you want, then I sit. So he has a lot of belief. Even last night, and not to go too far afield, but like, and I keep hitting on Şengün, but like Şengün comes up for what appears to be a high screen late in that game. I think it's Cornette trailing him. And because of their depth and not having that conventional closer, the Celtics can't figure out who they need to target. And so Cornette has basically a kind of a soft defense on Şengün because he thinks he's the picker, and then he just rolls and he's got a wide open dunk at the rim because they're trying to figure out which of the 4 or 5 options Houston's going to.
Yeah, great play call too, and I think that was the penultimate offensive possession for them. So that was a great play call from Ime as well. Yeah, I mentioned those Jalen Green numbers; they're outstanding this month. 49% from the field, 46% from three, way up from this past month. I think obviously will that carry over into February, into March, into April? That remains an open question. But like this team plays the kind of defense and offensive rebounds the hell out of the ball. They're going to be tough against anybody. You put them up against Denver, you put them up against Memphis, you put them up against any of the teams underneath Oklahoma City, and I don't know. I give them a better than puncher's chance to beat them right now. The question I would have, Sam, is I know you've had conversations with people in Houston, so have I. They've been pretty clear that they don't want to do anything big right now. Like at least the ones I've had. Like they've, they sort of the message I've been getting is, hey, let's see what we got this year.
Yep.
Let's see how things play out. But given the way they're playing right now, where they're just outstanding and sitting at number 2 in the Western Conference, do you think that gets revised at all as we head towards February 6th?
I don't think so as it relates to the core guys. I don't think they're going to come off Jalen right now. I don't think no. You look at the roster and you can see, I mean, they just have so many. I had a scout tell me recently, like, my God, there's so many guys on this team that we would love to get our hands on.
Mm-hmm.
And, like a Jabari Smith Jr. comes to mind. Like, if you get calls on him, you have some duplication of talent in that department. Maybe you think about it, but I don't think anything with the core. And I think what you're kind of alluding to is you're right. When you talk to the Rockets about certain star level players who they might be able to get their hands on right now, if they pushed hard enough, they're really kind of, shrugging and saying, no, we'll talk in the summer if we want to. We want to see this thing through to the end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, if Phoenix decided suddenly at the last minute that Devin Booker was available, that might be the guy that they go all in for. But everybody else, like the Jimmy Butler stuff, nah. Even Durant.
No, he's above their age.
Yeah,
preference.
I mean, and I think KD's probably got 3 more really good years left in him because he's just a hooper for life. But he's had injury issues too, and I don't know. You just don't. I just think they do want to see kind of like playoff situations. Like, does Jalen Green step up? Is Şengün the guy they can go to? Like, it's a year you want to advance as far as you can, but this is also like one of those educational seasons too. Like, let's just download as much information as we can about this team and then go to the summer. I've heard the same things about these guys, like the Tari Easons of the world. It's right. Like, these guys can play. Like, they've got a bunch of young guys that can play. They've got a whole bunch of Phoenix Suns draft capital, which is wildly valuable right now in the years to come. Like, they're well positioned, but I think that positioning will be taken advantage of this summer. I just don't see it happening this offseason or this season.